Ambassador Zethekri's mandibles clicked nervously as he reviewed the intelligence report for the third time. The crystalline being's translucent form flickered with anxiety as he processed the impossible data streaming across his neural interface. Around the vast amphitheater of the Galactic Council, representatives from 1,000 worlds murmured in their native tongues, creating a symphony of confusion and disbelief. "The humans have declared war on the Vorthak Empire," announced Chancellor Morvain, her 6 arms gesturing dramatically toward the holographic display floating above the assembly. The image showed humanity's small fleet of cobbled-together vessels positioning themselves between Earth's solar system and the approaching Vorthak armada. A collective gasp rippled through the chamber. The Jexari delegates' bioluminescent patches flashed in rapid succession, a clear sign of distress among his species. The Altarian representative's tentacles writhed so violently that his translation device struggled to keep up with his rapid-fire objections. "This is madness," wheezed Ambassador Gorthek through his breathing apparatus. The elderly Kanthari had witnessed 3 galactic wars in his lifetime, and his scarred carapace bore testament to the horrors of interstellar conflict. The humans have been spacefaring for barely 2 centuries. The Vorthak have conquered systems when their world was still cooling from stellar formation. Zethekri found himself nodding in agreement, though his species' equivalent was more of a harmonic resonance that vibrated through his crystalline structure. He had served as Earth's liaison for the past decade, and while he had grown fond of the peculiar mammals, their decision defied all logic. The Vorthak Empire stretched across 17 star systems, commanding fleets that numbered in the millions. Their biomechanical warships could devour entire moons for raw materials, and their warrior caste had never known defeat in over 10,000 years of expansion. Against this juggernaut, humanity was bringing exactly 47 ships, most of which the Vorthak would consider obsolete mining vessels. "Perhaps we should examine why the humans have made this decision," suggested Counselor Nithara, her melodic voice cutting through the chaos. The Seraphim was one of the few species in the galaxy that approached humanity's lifespan, and her ancient wisdom often brought clarity to the most complex situations. The main display shifted to show Admiral Sarah Chen standing on the bridge of the UES Defiance, humanity's flagship. Her brown eyes held a determination that seemed to burn through the hologram itself. When she spoke, her words were transmitted simultaneously to every corner of known space. "Citizens of the galaxy," Chen began, her voice steady despite the impossible odds she faced. "The Vorthak have issued an ultimatum to the peaceful colonies of Kepler 438b. Surrender or face extinction. They have given these innocent families 48 hours to abandon their homes they have built over 3 generations. Zethekri's form dimmed as he recalled his visits to the Kepler colonies. The humans there had transformed a harsh world into gardens that rivaled the mythical paradise systems. Children played in streets lined with earth roses, while their parents cultivated hybrid crops that fed not just their own population, but supplied food aid to struggling worlds throughout the sector. The Galactic Council has deemed intervention too costly, Admiral Chen continued, and Zethekri felt what humans might call shame pulse through his crystalline matrix. She was right. The Council had run the calculations. Saving Kepler 438b would require a coalition fleet of at least 300,000 ships. The political will simply didn't exist for such an undertaking, especially against the Vorthak. "But we have a different calculation," Chen said, and something in her tone made every being in the council chamber lean forward. "We don't measure cost in ships or lives or strategic advantage. We measure it in whether we can look at ourselves in the mirror tomorrow morning." The display zoomed out to show the human fleet in formation. 47 ships against impossible odds, but Zethekri noticed something that made his entire form resonate with a frequency he had never experienced before. Every ship flew not just the blue flag of Earth, but hundreds of smaller banners, one for each family on Kepler 438b. "The Jexari taught us about honor," Admiral Chen continued, her image now flanked by tactical displays showing the approaching Vorthak fleet. "The Altarians showed us the beauty of sacrifice for others. The Canthari demonstrated that true strength comes from protecting the vulnerable. We learned these lessons well. Chancellor Morvain's 6 hands trembled as she processed what she was witnessing. "They're not just going to fight," she whispered to her aide. "They think they can win." In the depths of space, the first Vorthak scouts encountered the human fleet. The engagement lasted exactly 14 minutes. When the quantum dust settled, the scouts were debris, and the human ships had suffered minimal damage. More importantly, they had broadcast the entire engagement across every frequency in known space. The council chamber fell silent as they watched Admiral Chen's next transmission. She stood in the same position, but now her ship bore scorch marks from Vorthak plasma weapons. Behind her, damage control teams worked frantically to repair systems. "The Vorthak expected us to break and run," she said, wiping blood from a small cut on her cheek. "They've conquered 1,000 worlds using fear as their primary weapon. But they made one crucial miscalculation." The transmission paused, and, in that moment of silence, Zethkri realized what every being in the galaxy was about to learn. They forgot that humans are the species that evolved by hunting mammoths with sharp sticks. We're the ones who looked at mountains and decided to tunnel through them. We saw oceans and built ships. We discovered fire in caves and eventually used it to reach the stars. The display showed the main Vorthak fleet changing course, not toward Kepler 438b, but away from it. For the first time in 10 millennia, the Vorthak Empire was retreating from an inferior force. "The colonies are safe," Admiral Chen announced, "and the galaxy has learned something new about humanity today. We don't calculate odds. We calculate what's right." As the transmission ended, Ambassador Zethkri looked around the council chamber. Every representative sat in stunned silence, processing what they had witnessed. 47 ships had not just fought the Vorthak Empire. They had made it blink first. Chancellor Morvain's voice cracked as she addressed the assembly. "I believe we need to reconsider our understanding of what makes a species truly powerful." Zethkri's crystalline form pulsed with what he finally recognized as pride, not in his own species, but in the remarkable mammals he had been privileged to know. The humans had just reminded the galaxy that sometimes the most important battles weren't about winning or losing. They were about refusing to accept that innocent people should suffer simply because saving them was inconvenient. In the depths of space, 47 human ships turned toward home, their mission complete. They had saved not just a colony, but something far more precious: the idea that someone somewhere would always stand up for what was right.